Hey, and welcome to A Soul's Compass. My name is Elizabeth, and this is an update on my ketamine journey. So, I have successfully finished sessions 7, 8, and 9. 7 was my breakthrough, my magic number. Yay, me! So, um, wow, I have not had any anxiety in almost a week. No intrusive thoughts, um, no remembering to breathe. I have felt lighter, um, more alive. Do I get pissed off? Yeah, I do. I actually tell people what I think now. Everybody's calling me sassy pants, but I love it. It's okay because that just means that, I can speak my mind without fear. I have always had so much fear of offending others, fear of them abandoning me, or fear that I'm going to upset them. Are they going to hurt me? Golly, fear's a liar, isn't it? So, I refuse to live in that spirit of fear. So it's been really nice not to have to fake it till I make it. I really have just been at peace. It's been, this last week has been really beautiful. Um, I've had a question brought up to me that asking what my traumas are. So I'd like to address that this time. But I want to remind you that there is no trauma scale. Um, we don't compare here. My traumas are not worse than others, and others are not worse than mine. We all have an internal threshold um, as far as our trauma meter. And a lot of us get to a point where we are so traumatized that we become fractured. And I am going to say fractured is a word because I lived it um, for a year and a half. So, so let's go ahead and get into it. What are my traumas? Okay, so um, I was sexually molested by 5 different family members, 5 men of my family, from the age of 4 to the age of 12. My main abuser was my father. He was sexually abusive, emotionally abusive, and physically abusive. Um, that lasted from the age of 6 to 10. And when I went back to live with my mother um, at the age of 10, I walked into a very physically abusive household and emotionally abusive. My mother married me off when I was 14 years old. I won't even go into the abuse with my mom because it is what it is. I won't go into the different instruments she used. I will just say that CPS was involved in our life because the beatings were severe. And she married me off at 14 to a 22-year-old man. And that started my journey into domestic violence. I didn't know anything about anything, so ended up pregnant a year later and had a baby at 16. Ended up living on my own and out of my car at the age of 17 because I ran away with my baby. So, trauma, lots of trauma. Adulthood, full of domestic violence, getting my ass kicked by men. And it wasn't fun, but I survived. I also handed down damage, right? So if you don't get anything from me at all, heal ASAP as soon as you can. Get busy. Ain't nobody got time to waste. being sick. Because when you're sick, you make other people sick. It happens. Even mental illness, it's not yours alone, I promise you. So I made these decisions, had these abusive relationships, and finally got out of all of that craziness and started doing really good for myself and single. And lo and behold, met my soulmate and got married in 2017. And I felt like he was a blessing. Um, I have been a good and faithful daughter to my Father God my whole life. And I finally felt safe in this world for the first time with Chris. And we got married. And one of the things we said to each other is, God, yeah, this is just so perfect. Yeah, it was. And we went to Jamaica, and we didn't know it, but he contracted a bacteria while we were there. He ended up uh, in the hospital 2 weeks after we got home, uh, and ended up on life support just 2 days after that. It was brutal. He suffered. I watched him every day. I stayed with him because I knew that my God would heal him, and I knew he would come home. I knew that. Like, there was no doubt. I told his kids, no, he's fine. He's going to be fine. It is going to be fine. God is too good. He's too good. So I laid in that bed on December the 22nd. I spent the last night with him. And on December 23rd, while I was laying in that bed holding him, surrounded by all of our kids, and they took him off life support, I knew he was going to breathe. And he didn't. And that's when it fractured my mind. It broke. And my God died. And I lived in a darkness for a year and a half that I would not wish on my worst enemy. To live in this world with no God, no creator, no hope. I couldn't even pray anymore. I had nothing to pray to. I was miserable. And yeah, so that led me to Peru. That's a whole nother story. But those are my traumas. I've dealt with a lot of grief. I've lost a lot of people in my life. Um, Not all of them were traumatic. Grief is what grief is. Death sucks. It's not fun for anybody, but it's not extremely traumatic, at least not for me. Losing Chris the way I did was extremely traumatic. And I don't know that that's something that I'll ever completely heal from. And that's the truth. Whew, and that's okay. You know what? Because I don't want to be perfect. I don't care to be perfect. The only perfect person to ever walk this world was crucified. So why would I want to be perfect? I just want to get as healed as possible. Ketamine has really, really helped so much to kind of like give me a fresh start, clean slate, right? I've always talked the talk that every day is a new day. You can start over, clean slate, fresh start. But now I really get that. I really get that without all the weight of the grief that I have had to carry throughout my life. Grief for my little girl, the little me that was so damaged as a child that I was such a damaged adult that I allowed people to damage my kids. Y'all, that's what I mean. Mental illness is everybody's issue. It is everybody's issue because it affects everybody. It's not your problem. It's your kid's problem. It's your parents' problem. It's your neighbor's problem. We have to heal. It is our responsibility to do whatever it takes to heal. Now, I have crawled on my hands and knees my entire life to get to the healing that I have right now. And it is so worth it. It is so worth it. So, all I'm going to say is when it comes to ketamine, it's not a joke. Don't take it lightly. It is work. You're going to work. You're not going to go in there and see a bunch of pretty rainbows and just feel better. It doesn't work that way. You're going to go in and it is going to rip open some of those wounds and you're going to feel it. And it's going to hurt. But the cool thing about it is when we actually feel something in its entirety, we get to heal. A friend of mine always says, you got to feel it to heal it. Well, guess what? That is so true. Because if we are so disconnected from ourselves and our inner child and our body that we don't feel appropriately or have appropriate emotions, then it makes for a very chaotic world for the people around us. Now, I get to genuinely just be happy and not have anxiety creep up from the back. And then all of a sudden, I'm having an anxiety attack and I was just having fun. Or wake up in the morning and I'm perfectly fine, but by afternoon, I'm feeling extremely disconnected and depressed. Those are chemical misfires. It's when the brain becomes so fractured and things are rewired and they're wired wrong. Ketamine has just absolutely been it for me. And it's almost like it's the fine tuning for me. I've done the self-help books, the talk therapies, the journaling, the plethora of medicines. I've been on all the medicines. Done lots of different healing modalities. I've even gone and sat with ayahuasca 20 different times. That's like the granddaddy of all the psychedelics, right? That is supposed to help heal trauma. Ketamine is the bow for me, at least for me, right? And so just know there's something out there for everybody. There is a modality that will work for you. Please do not give up. Please don't. Whether it's sound therapy, frequency healing, prayer, diet matters. Oh my gosh, does diet matter? Just don't give up. Keep looking. Keep reaching because you are so worth it. You are so worth it. So, till next time, just breathe and do the next right thing.